blocks today. Yeah, soft block is nice to have as well for our knees. And we're gonna have a great class today. Open up the chest, the back of the shoulders, a little bit of everything. We're gonna do some of that activation stretching as well. So let's begin. Take either pose you want, either on your back in Shavasana, or even just seated. And we have a couple more joining online. They're just not here yet. So let's find ourselves in a comfortable seat or on our backs, and close your eyes. Take a few moments to settle and notice how you're feeling today. So just connect with your breath, noticing that it's rushed, probably making your way to class. And commit to this next hour for yourself. We shift now from the doing mode, the doing of our lives, into some being, and connecting with our bodies to create more space, to create more calm, and to create a healthier place for all of our physical tissues in our body and our mind and spirit. And today we are going to continue to work with these elements connected with the metal component with traditional Chinese medicine. A little bit of focus on the large intestine and the lungs, but also opening other areas of the body. Once again, come back to your breath. Notice if it's moving mostly into your chest. As we move through poses, the breath will begin to move into those deeper belly breaths, the diaphragmatic breathing. And as soon as we bring our attention to the breath, we automatically start to slow that down. We notice our breath becomes deeper and slower, a little more nourishing. Let's do a little short round of counted breath or a carousel. Let's first take an inhale through the nose. Nice and full, let it go through the mouth. Do that 2 more times. Inhale through the nose, out through the mouth. Last time, inhale, out through the mouth. And now a box breath, equal counts. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, moving to 5, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, last round, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, let it all go. Just notice your breath now. And before we start moving, check in with your body. Notice any areas that are feeling sore or tense. use this as a little bit of a measure to observe at the end of class when we check in once again how the body tissues are feeling after class. Let's blink our eyes open. If you're on your back, you can roll to one side in fetal position and then push up to a seat. And we'll begin our movement together. So let's begin on hands and knees. And if you have carpet at home, then you can just use your carpet and have your knees on the mat. For those of us in class, we're probably going to be extending our hands wider than the mat. So you're going to be coming out to the floor. So knees are under your hips. Your hands are going to come wider than your mat, so either on the carpet or the floor. And this is our lung activation. So we're going to begin by sort of pushing your hands into the floor and also together. So as soon as you do that, you feel those pec muscles, biceps begin to fire up. Feel that activation and now begin to stretch, moving the hips back towards the feet. Yep, and then let that go to come up and start again. Pushing hands down and together. Lots of heat generating in the bicep area, pecs. Begin to send the hips back. That's our stretch. Come back. Push in and together. Send hips back. So when we release, we can let go of that tension to come back up to starting. Pushing hands down and together. Send hips back. We lengthen the muscle. So we shorten the muscle to begin. This is our shortening phase, and then we activate it, and then we lengthen the muscle. And this helps to transfigure the fascia. When we do this, there's enzymes released in the tissues to help transform that fascia that gets tough and sticky around the muscles and goes into the joints. Okay, one more time like that, sending hips back. And then come back up over, staying now over your arms. Same activation. You're going to imagine a clock right beneath your chest. So we're at the center of the clock. And now just begin to pull the right hand towards the left. So we're pulling right hand towards the left and then slide over to the left. Feel that opening in the chest on the right. And then release, come back to center. Drawing right arm towards the left. So the right arm is like your 3 o'clock. You're pulling it towards 9 o'clock. Come back up over the center. So there's that clock at center. The hand on the right is your 3 o'clock, dragging it over to the 9. Again. Feel lots of resistance, especially at the beginning. That's where most of the work takes place. Most of the stretch takes place at the beginning. So let's do one more time, moving to the left. Release it, come back up to center. Give yourself a break. Now activate that left arm. So you're pushing down and the left arm is now at that 9 o'clock position, wanting to sweep over to 3 o'clock, and you slide yourself down towards the right hand. Coming back up, left hand pulling over to the right as you slide yourself down to the right. Again, release to come up. Feeling that left hand wanting to sweep over to meet the right, release to come up. Do 2 more times. So we did this one on the wall last week, and this is just another way of doing it. There's different ways of doing these activation stretches. Release, let's take a break. Pause, just come to a kneeling position. Close your eyes, notice the front of the chest. And this gets our heart rate up because we are resisting, right? It's a little bit of a muscular endurance movement as well as stretching. So the lung meridian runs down the arms to the thumb. to the thumbs on both sides. Just notice if you're sensing anything. Nice, blinking eyes open. And now we're going to do the pairing muscle group. So we did the lungs, and the pairing muscle group in traditional Chinese medicine is the large intestine. So now we're going to do the back of the arms. So come again to tabletop. And we begin this time with our arm like a cactus shape, okay? So let's start with our right arm in this cactus shape. And you're going to sweep the arm down towards the left. Place the back of the arm on the mat, okay? So your right elbow is in line with your left knee, okay? You're on the left side of the mat, right elbow in line with the left knee, few inches, maybe a little bit more ahead of the left knee. Your left hand can come down just next to the arm or on top of the right palm for like a little bit of support. So you're plugging this right arm down into the mat now. Plug it down and imagine you're doing this, sweeping it up this way, sweeping arm up like this. Yeah, plug the arm down and imagine you're sweeping it across as you dip the right ear down to the mat. Should feel real good. Come back up to starting. I love this one. Push down with the arm. Imagine it's sweeping. Most important, just push down. If the sweeping motion is very confusing, just push the arm down and dip the right ear down to the right. Come back up, push it down, dip down to the right. So we're working all up the line of the shoulder into the back of the shoulder. And you hear me getting a little out of breath because this is some work. You may be feeling that too. So resist, resist, resist at the beginning. Pushing arm down, dip down to the right. One more time on this side. Dip, 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 push, 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 dip down to the right, release, let go. Come back, just notice the right arm compared to the left. How you both doing? It's good, right? Yeah, I know, I love it. So notice all the energy in the right arm right now. Do you feel a lot of like movement of energy in around the shoulder? Large intestine meridians run down the arm to the pointer finger index. Okay, so we're going to take it to the left arm now. Left arm is in that cactus shape. You swoop that arm over so that the left elbow is in line in front of the right knee. Plug that arm down to the mat. Use the right hand on top or at the side. I like placing it on top. It just kind of helps me remind myself to push the arm down. So before you move, resist. Push arm down, imagine sweeping it, and begin to dip the left ear down to the left. And come back up. Push arm down, and dip. Release to come up, and let it all go to start at the beginning, and then resist. Before you even move, resist. Most of the work is done at the beginning of the range of motion, even though we feel like it's at the end. Most of the fascial change happens at the beginning. So it's kind of counterintuitive because we're used to moving to that end range and stretching or close to it. So push down, dip, swing down, come back up. Another 1 or 2 times at your own pace. Push, push, push. I love this one. It gives me such relief in my shoulders. And then we come to neutral, either sitting on our bums or our heels, close our eyes, hands on the laps. See if you can just sense into any subtle movement of energy through the shoulders, the tissues. And we're going to take our first yin posture now. So if you'd like some water after all of that movement, go ahead and take some. And then we're going to set up for puppy pose with the bolster. So we're going to use the bolster and maybe even the blocks if you want to use the blocks for extra height. I get myself a set of blocks. And place them just under your chest. so that when you come down in the puppy, you can start in tabletop and then begin to walk the arms forward. And then you have the support right under your chest so that, one, you don't go too deep into the posture. You don't go too far with that edge. And two, you have some, stability, comfort here, okay? So just notice how it's feeling in the shoulders, in the front of the shoulders and the chest, and adjust if you need more height or any other support. Sorry, I am going to play some music, and I'm just going to start our time. Apologies, that went off a little early, so just stay in the pose. And we have about another 30 seconds or so. Notice the breath as it moves here into the low belly. The low belly is soft and dropping towards the mat. So notice it as it fills up that low belly. Nice and soft and smooth breath. And let's take our last inhale. Allow that low belly to get more full with breath. And on your exhale, begin to lift your head and walk your hands up. Come back to tabletop nice and slow. And keep your bolster where it is and move your block for your forehead. So we're going to take this bow tie shape. And I really like using the bolster here. So we come down onto the bolster so that our rib cage meets the bolster. And then we're going to cross our arms for that bow tie. So we're going to cross the left arm underneath the right. Left comes under right. And then you can use the block maybe on its second height to rest your forehead. And this is a really lovely opening for the back of the neck, also the shoulders and the meridian lines for the large intestine once again. So we're going to hold it with the right arm higher than the left, over the left, and then we'll switch about halfway through. And while you're here now in this shape, just notice if the fingers are kind of clenching, like holding tension, and can you just remind the fingertips to curl in and feel the breath in the belly as it's moving on the bolster. The bolster's under your rib cage and likely part of your belly, so you can feel this push with every inhale. And softly exhaling. And so as we talked about last class, the metal element is considered precious, right? It's a precious element in the earth. And this season of autumn is about letting go. And so this time of year can be a little difficult for some of us, that letting go notion. And the emotion that is associated with this time of year with the metal element is grief. And if you think about how sometimes that sense of letting go does make us feel sad, right? Where there's some sadness associated with moving into this time of year, perhaps, letting go of that abundance, that brightness of summer, even though it is part of what's necessary in the cycle of life and nature. We're going to shift now here in a moment. And so if you do find that this time of year does give you that sense of a little bit of sadness, you can understand now that it's quite natural. Let's take an inhale here to prepare to go to the other side. So inhale. Feel that low belly fill up. And on the exhale, begin to push up onto the elbows a little bit and just change the cross of your arms. So now we slide the right one under the left, and this will change how it feels in the shoulders. And then come back down to the block for your forehead. And so these practices help us adjust, right? It helps to nourish these organs that are also connected with letting go, right? The lungs take in what's needed in the form of oxygen, and they let go in the form of carbon dioxide. And the large intestine, of course, takes in what's needed, nutrients, water absorption into the large intestine, and then expels the waste, right? What's not needed. So these organs are connected very much in a sort of like an intuitive way with nature. And the large intestine is the yang organ. The lung is the yin organ. So we're also, in addition to opening the tissues in the arms, we have a little bit of extension in the back here. So strengthening those muscles just a little bit with the extension here in our spine. And we're almost done this side now, so just continue with your breathing and focusing on what you're feeling in the body, around the shoulders, maybe just even the pressure of the head on the block. It may feel nice to turn the head side to side, a little massage on the brow and that third eye chakra. Or you can keep your head still. And then an inhale. Feel the breath move into the belly and also into the low back. And exhale. And then begin to push into the elbows. Again, come up. Just move the block away from your head and shift that bolster out from underneath your body. And then come on down to the tops of your hands. Take a rest. And then our next posture, we're going to extend, so lengthen that right arm out to the side of your body, bringing the right arm straight out at shoulder height. Bend the left hand so you can rest your right temple on the mat here. The left hand is just in front of the face. Push into the left hand, bend your left knee, bring your body rolling open to the left, and then you can either prop that left foot in front of the right leg or bring it behind the right leg. And we're opening the shoulder here. So your right arm is out. You got it. Yep, that's it, Martin. Yep. And you can use the bolster in front of your body for a little bit of support, but most of us find this kind of okay in the body, right? You want to bring the bolster in front of your body and rest the knee on the bolster so that you take less intensity here. That's nice too. And we notice now this opening in the front of the shoulder. Right? So connecting again to the front side of the body, the lungs, also the heart and the meridian lines associated with the lungs here. This one just generally feels nice for most of us. The tightness we feel in the front of the body, in the shoulders. And this one, sometimes we can go really deep in that edge, like opening the body a lot to the left. So soften that edge if you feel like there's a lot of intensity on the front of the right shoulder joint. Just bring the left leg in front perhaps, or onto the bolster so that you can roll down a little bit towards the floor and soften that edge. Trace that next inhale now through the nose into the low belly. And on your exhale, begin to unwind. So bringing that left foot in front, beginning to roll the body back down towards the mat. Extend both arms long now and just rest your head. Notice the difference from left to right. A lot more sensation for me in the front of the right shoulder right now than the left. And so now we'll take it to the other side. We bend the right elbow, plant that right hand on the mat just in front of the face and the shoulder. And then begin to roll onto the left side of the body. And as you do, bend the right knee and place the right foot behind the left leg or in front. If the edge is too much on that left shoulder, then bring it in front and allow a block or bolster to hold your knee so that you soften that intensity. Okay, and we hold here. Continue to hold. I am going to make sure the heat is a little higher in the room. Sensation here, which is likely right in the front of the left shoulder. Bring the breath there. So as if you could bring the breath right into that space. Direct the breath there. notice if the left fingertips are tensing, if the jaw is tensing. Gentle reminders to soften. Final inhale. Nice full breath. And on the exhale, begin to unwind, rolling that right knee back towards the mat and the foot coming back down. Extending both arms long again, turning the head to one side, just noticing. Next, we're going to set up for Sphinx pose because we haven't done it in a very long time. So let's bring our hands right under our shoulders to push up onto our forearms. So we're on our forearms here, and you can slide a block right under the rib cage if you like for a little bit of support. Our forearms are like train tracks. They are parallel here, and our elbows are just in front of the shoulders. So elbows aren't behind like this, but just in front of the shoulders. And tuck the tailbone just a little bit towards the heels. You can feel the low abs engage, and it takes that pressure off the low back. And now lengthen. So look at the difference between this, where I'm sunk into my shoulders, and this, I'm lengthening up towards the corner of the room where the wall meets the ceiling. You can think of your crown reaching in that direction, and tuck your chin. So draw your chin back towards the back of your neck. Tucking that chin lengthens the back of the neck. And here we're really strengthening all that back chain of stability muscles in the spine. It's such a good one, and we haven't had it in our class for a few weeks, so cannot forget about the good old Sphinx pose for everyone today. And this is considered a more fiery yin posture. So just as the whole concept of yin and yang exists, there's a little yin in the yang and yang in the yin, and this is a pose that is more yang-like. It requires more muscular endurance to hold the pose, and we have some of those in our yin practice. Not every pose is quite as passive. So another few rounds of breath here. You're doing excellent. Continue to draw chin towards the back of the neck. And now inhale, quite full. And exhale. You can lower your head back down to the backs of your hands for a moment. Take a break. Nice. And now we begin to roll onto one side just to come up to a seat. So make your way up to a seat, and we're going to set up our blocks and bolster for the next few poses. And I'll assist you both here if you need. So you guys at home know this one very well. We're going to set up our blocks like a step. So the first block is on its lowest height, and then the second block is on its second height behind, so it becomes like a little step, and then we place our bolster over it like that. Yeah, you got it, yeah, and then the bolster goes over it, yeah, and you've got it too, so you'll just be facing the other way, yeah, and that's fine. Or you can put it at the back of your mat, yeah, good. And so you're just going to, I just see this block is not quite steady here, so I'm going to lower it, there we go. Got one like this. Yeah. I know, it's like a puzzle, right? And then we sit so that our lower lower backs are at the back, are meeting the bolster. And we make our way down for a nice chest opener here. And when you arrive, if you want a roll of blanket under the neck, you can place that there. If there's too much opening here on the shoulders, we can prop up the elbows or wrists with cushions or another block so there's not so much strain in the front of the chest. And finally, if you'd like to bring your knees open, you can slide the soles of the feet together, bring the knees open into that butterfly shape. Okay, so pick your favorite yummy posture here. We're gonna hold this one for a good few minutes. You guys okay with the heat? I turned it on a bit because it gets a bit chilly in here. Okay, good. I'm just gonna do that for your legs. It might feel nice and not pull on your low back. There we go. It's okay, you're all right? All right. Good. All right. And a final check-in before we really settle into the shape. Notice if your arms are maybe past your first edge. So we can do those like snow angel wings with our hands where we sweep our arms closer to our body, a little further away. And it's my tendency to bring my arms past my first edge of resistance. So I'm going to bring them back towards my body just a smidgen. I believe that's a Newfie term, smidgen. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's in my vocabulary. So just a smidge. And connect with your breath here. Feel this beautiful opening through the heart chakra, the lungs. We're nourishing the lungs here with this breath. You can imagine the color green spinning around your heart space. It's the color of the heart chakra, anahata. And you can imagine that color green moving down through your legs, into your feet, out through your arms, to your hands and fingertips, and up your neck into your head. And the color of this season, this autumn time of year metal element, is actually white. So perhaps that color comes to mind. And if it does, then go with that. Just be with your breath here now. I'm going to turn up some music so we can fully sink into our own sensations here. So I'll stop talking and turn up the music, and you guys really enjoy this pose for the next few minutes. thigh. Use your hands on the exhale to begin to bring those knees back together so that the feet are planted on the mat and your hands are down by your sides now. And then slowly engage into the elbows, the arms to push up into a seat. I know it's hard to come up out of that one. And then turn so that your left hip is connected with the bolster. You can just close your eyes for a moment and observe anything that you're feeling in the front of the body here, or just even energetically, any movement of fluids, any pulses in the body. And we're going to take a twist from here using the bolster again, so the left side is right up against the bolster, and then bring your legs into this sort of deer shape so that the left foot is placed right on top of the right thigh and the right foot's behind you. Yeah, and you can bend the right leg to Barnett, so that's behind you. Yeah, that's good. Is it hurt? Is that okay? Okay, good. And then we begin to twist over the bolster so that the hands frame the bolster, and twist. Before we move towards the bolster, we're just going to engage this little bit of twist. You'll feel it really low in the abdominal region here as we frame that bolster. Take a breath here. Continue to breathe as you twist here. And now we walk the hands down the mat. So walk down the mat and imagine that right rib cage meeting the bolster first. So it won't happen, unlikely to happen, but keep reaching with the right rib cage. And then you settle down to the bolster and either look to the right or to the left. So looking to the right is a bit softer. It's a little bit of a more yin version. But if you want to look to the left, then absolutely do so. So feeling some opening here in the left hip perhaps as well as we twist. And twisting is, again, connecting with our large intestine on a very physical level. So not through the meridian lines as we were doing with the arm exercises, but the actual twisting in the abdominal region. And as your head is resting here, you may connect with your breath. You may hear your heart beating a little bit against the bolster or in the echo of your ear. And you can use that to stay with the sensations and the posture. Really nice on the low back. Feels like a little release. Twisting is good for digestion, as most of us know. So if you're hearing any sounds, any gurgling, then that's the motion. It's like a little massage. We're massaging these organs and getting the digestive tract ready maybe for the treats later on tonight. The leftover Halloween treats maybe, right? And wherever you're noticing the most sensation, it is where your body's needing it, right? So maybe you're noticing more in the glute on the left side or down the leg and the hip, and that's where your body is tight and you're needing some opening. So if you're feeling it more in another area rather than the abdominal region and the twisting, that's part of this process. And our next inhale, bring it into the low belly. And on the exhale, begin to walk your hands back towards your legs. So walking them down the mat again, push into the hands, slowly coming out of the posture. And just come back upright and keep your legs as they are. And we pause in between the next side. Just a moment to notice the after effects from that side. And then to take it to the next side, all you guys have to do is just swing around to the right, bringing it to the right. I'm going to change the configuration on my mat so I can face you, but you just swing around so that the right hip now is facing the bolster. And you've got the left foot on top, or sorry, right foot on top of the left thigh and the left knee bent. And then bring the hands on either side of the bolster, frame the bolster, twist from that low belly. Feel that twist first. Breathe into the twist. Take a round or two of breath here. And then begin to walk the hands down slowly, imagining this left rib cage now, meeting the bolster first. So twisting all the way down until you meet the bolster, and then choose to either keep the head to the left or turn it over to the right. So I'm settling down on my right temple here now. And again, you may hear the pulse, the beat of your heart with your ear on the bolster. And feeling that breath as it meets every inhale, the rib cage expanding, meeting the bolster. Sense into the breath now in the back of the body. It's more noticeable in the front where our rib cage is expanding onto the bolster and maybe against our thigh. So sense the breath now in the back. Notice that slight lift in the back ribs. Notice how the ribs also expand side to side. noticing. I love that twist. That always feels good in the body. And then we're going to move the bolster out of the way. So take it out of the way altogether, maybe to the top of your mat, unless you want it for Shavasana. So then bring it to the side of your mat. And then come on down to your backs again, all the way down to your backs. And I want to do just a bit of somatic movement before Shavasana today. So have both feet planted on the mat and arms out to a T, palms facing down. And now extend the left leg long. Left leg extends long. The right foot is still on the mat, knee bent. Inhale, begin to roll onto the inner edge of that right foot. So allowing the right knee to drop over the left leg and taking a little arch in the back. Keep the movement small to begin and then exhale to come back to starting. Just move in your body without thinking it needs to look like anything. Inhale, roll onto the inner edge of the right foot. The right knee crosses over the left leg, taking a little arch in the back. And coming back through center. It's like a mini twist. Inhale, dropping that right knee over the left leg, and this time allow the head to look out over the right hand. You can keep your eyes closed, just turning the head to the right, and then coming back through center. And again, inhale, that right knee drops over the left, taking a little arch, inhaling the the head turns to the right, pardon me. Inhale, a little bit of a stretch here, and exhale back through center. And again, inhale, rocking onto that inner edge of the foot, a little arch at the back, head turns to the right, over the right hand, and back through center. Just a bit of unwinding here, one more time. Inhale, right knee crosses over the left, arch in the back, head looks out over the right. And exhale back through center. Pause here. Inhale. Let it go, exhale. Bend the left knee, left foot plants, right leg lengthens long on the mat. And we take it to the left now. So just beginning with the leg or the knee to start. Inhale, roll onto that inner edge of the left foot. Left knee crosses over the right, and just begin to lift that left hip up off the mat and roll back. Inhale, crossing left knee, left hip lifts up. Slight arch, the head isn't moving yet. And back through center. Inhale, lifting that hip up, crossing the knee over, and begin to turn the head to the left now. Little movement, not big. Exhale back through center. Another few times, and now listen to your head as it rolls, crossing that knee over the right leg, looking out over the left hand, hearing that head move on the mat, rolling back, hearing your head again roll back to center. Inhale, left knee crosses over the midline, arch the back, looking out over the left hand. Inhale, rolling back through, sensing into your body, hearing those small movements. Inhale, left knee over the right, arching back, looking out over the left hand, and back through center. We did it one more time on the other side, so let's just, for good measure, inhale, knee crosses, back arches, looking out over the left arm, and roll back. Nice pause here. And then extend the left leg long. We've got both legs nice and long and open on the mat. Arms come down by your sides, palms facing up. Sensing into the back line of the body here as it meets the mat and the floor. And giving yourself complete permission now to absorb the benefits of your practice and take in Shavasana. I'm going to play some music. And quiet mind. Yourself back now to your room, to your body, and before moving, noticing, as you did at the beginning of class, how you're feeling, how any areas of tightness, soreness are feeling in the body now. And also just really absorbing and enjoying this state of peace and calm. And then beginning to move the feet, rolling around the ankles, rolling around the wrists, moving the jaw, and turning the head left and right. Just resurface everything, give the body some time to adjust. And if you like, you can reach your arms overhead, reaching them up long overhead, interlacing the fingers, turning the hands inside out, taking a body stretch, reaching those arms away from the toes, stretching, exhaling, letting it go, and rolling over to your left side in fetal position for a breath or two here. And then pushing into that right hand to come up to a seat, and we close out class together. And bringing the hands in front of the heart space, the thumbs in against the sternum. A moment of gratitude for our breath, this most precious element of our bodies. A moment of gratitude for that breath and for our bodies being able to move and learn and explore. A moment of gratitude for all of the wisdom that has come before us to help us learn and grow in these ways, and for each other coming together in community. And I thank you for being part of class today and just always exploring with me. Thank you and have a beautiful day. Namaste.
Namaste.